It's the largest passenger aircraft the world has ever seen, a flying palace in the sky, capable of carrying over 800 people. The Airbus A380 is a modern marvel, the crown jewel of commercial aviation, but less than 2 decades after its first commercial flight, it's dying. This is the story of the Airbus A380. Meet the Airbus A380, a flying giant that promised to revolutionize air travel with unmatched size, luxury, and ambition. But what began as a bold dream ended in a bittersweet legacy. In the 1990s, Airbus, Europe's rising aerospace giant, faced a challenge. Boeing's 747 had ruled long-haul travel for decades. Airbus wanted to dethrone the queen of the skies with something bigger, bolder, and more efficient. Enter Project A3XX, the codename for what would become the A380. Launched in 1994, the goal was simple yet audacious. Build a Superjumbo jet to carry more passengers and redefine air travel for the hub-and-spoke model, where major airports connect global routes. Airbus envisioned airlines clamoring for a plane that could pack in 600 to 800 passengers, slashing costs per seat. The A380 was Airbus's moonshot, a symbol of European engineering prowess to rival American dominance. But it wasn't just about size. Airbus promised luxury, efficiency, and a glimpse into the future of aviation. Developing the A380 was a colossal undertaking for Airbus. The project commenced officially in 2000 with a $10.7 billion budget. Airbus rallied factories across Europe, wings from the UK, fuselage from Germany, assembly in France. The plane's sheer scale demanded innovation. Its wings spanned 80 meters, wider than a football field, and its 4 Rolls-Royce or Engine Alliance engines could each power a small town. But size brought challenges. The A380's weight, up to 575 tons, required stronger runways and new airport infrastructure. Wiring issues and production delays plagued the program, pushing costs to $25 billion by some estimates. By 2005, the A380 was 2 years behind schedule, testing Airbus's resolve and investors' patience. Yet, the dream held strong. Airbus bet on a future where crowded hubs would demand megajets to handle booming passenger numbers. In January 2005, the A380 was unveiled to global fanfare. It was a spectacle to behold. 17 airlines, including Emirates, Singapore Airlines, and Qantas, placed orders for 159 planes before the first flight. The A380's promise? Carry up to 853 passengers in an all-economy setup or 525 in a luxurious 3-class configuration, with range enough to fly 15,200 kilometers nonstop. Think London to Sydney without refueling. When Singapore Airlines flew the first commercial A380 flight in October 2007, it was a triumph. Passengers raved about the spacious cabins, some featuring private suites, onboard bars, and even showers at 40,000 feet. Emirates, the A380's biggest customer, ordered 140 planes, banking on its Dubai hub to fill them. By 2010, orders peaked at 337, with airlines betting on the A380 to dominate high-traffic routes. The A380's capabilities were unmatched. It could fly over 15,000 kilometers, carry 35% more passengers than a 747, and boasted 40% lower noise levels, making it a passenger favorite. Airlines like Emirates and Singapore Airlines turned the A380 into a flying palace, offering first-class passengers private suites, onboard showers, and cocktail lounges. The A380's fuel efficiency per seat was a game-changer when fully loaded, cutting costs by up to 20% compared to older jumbos. It also boasted advanced aerodynamics and lightweight materials, reducing emissions for its size. By the mid-2010s, the Airbus A380 was soaring on routes across the globe, but storm clouds were gathering. The A380 faced significant post-delivery challenges that dented its reputation and strained airline operations. These issues, combined with its high operating costs, accelerated the Superjumbo's decline. One of the most critical problems emerged in 2011, when tiny cracks were discovered in the wings of Qantas A380 after repairs following an engine failure. These cracks, linked to stress in the wing fittings and the use of a specific aluminum alloy, prompted the European Aviation Safety Agency, to issue an airworthiness directive in January 2012. All 68 A380 in operation at the time were inspected, with some requiring costly repairs. Airbus switched to a new alloy for planes delivered from 2014, but fixing cost over $130 million, and airlines sought compensation for grounded fleets. The fuel efficiency per seat of the A380 was a selling point when full. However, therein lay the problem. Filling 525 to 853 seats proved to be tough. It required high-demand routes, such as Dubai to London or Tokyo to Singapore. On less popular routes, airlines flew half-empty planes, erasing fuel efficiency gains. By 2015, a number of airlines had signaled interest in selling their aircraft, with some of those moves aligning with expiring lease agreements. Several A380 already in service were also placed on the market for lease to other carriers, raising concerns about Airbus's prospects for securing new sales. Airlines were unable to sell their A380. Unlike smaller planes, it had no second-hand market due to its size, operating costs, and limited airport compatibility, leading airlines to retire them. Converting the A380 into a cargo plane also stumbled. It was designed for passengers. Its double-deck structure splits cargo space into two smaller holds. Unlike single-deck freighters like the Boeing 747, which can handle oversized pallets and containers on one wide main deck, the A380's lower hold can carry 38 LD3 containers, but its upper deck, built for seats, requires costly retrofitting to handle cargo. Think millions per plane. Furthermore, the industry shifted to point-to-point travel, bypassing hubs for direct city-to-city routes. The A380, designed for hub-and-spoke, became a misfit. Its $445 million price tag and high operating costs didn't help. Airports needed costly upgrades to handle its size, and many couldn't. By 2015, orders stalled, and cancellations began. Even Emirates scaled back. In February 2019, Airbus dropped a bombshell. A380 production would end by 2021. Emirates reduced its order from 140 to 123, and with no new buyers, Airbus had no choice. Only 251 A380 were built, far short of the 1,200 Airbus once projected to break even. The final A380 rolled off the line in December 2021, delivered to Emirates. A dream born in the 1990s was grounded by a changing world. The A380s and wasn't just about numbers. It was a lesson in ambition clashing with reality. Airlines like Emirates continued to fly the A380 on high-demand routes, but many were retired early, parked in deserts, or scrapped. However, the realities of post-COVID world led to an unlikely resurgence of the Airbus A380 after it was written off as a commercial miscalculation. When the pandemic hit in 2020, most airlines grounded their A380 fleets, calling the aircraft too expensive and impractical for a future of reduced demand. But as global travel rebounded faster and stronger than expected, airlines suddenly faced unprecedented capacity shortages on their busiest international routes. With Boeing and Airbus unable to make delivery according to demand, the A380's immense size, once a liability, became its greatest asset. This led the likes of British Airways, Qantas, Lufthansa, and a host of others to pull their A380 out of storage, investing millions in cabin upgrades. The aircraft once declared dead became essential for meeting surging demand. Like Emirates, these airlines plan to fly their A380 into the 2030s, but other airlines have moved on. With Airbus no longer producing the A380, we face a future without the aviation icon. So what's the A380's legacy? It pushed engineering boundaries, proving a double-decker jet could fly safely and luxuriously. It inspired innovations in cabin design and fuel efficiency that live on in newer planes. For passengers, it remains an icon, a rare treat in an era of smaller jets. The A380 was a gamble on a future that never arrived. Yet, its story isn't one of failure, but of daring ambition. It showed what's possible when humans dream big, even if those dreams don't last forever. The Airbus A380 was a dream, a majestic, sky-sailing cathedral that pushed the boundaries of what was possible. But dreams don't always match the real world. While it never conquered the skies in numbers, it won hearts. The Airbus A380 soared as a marvel of aviation, a giant that carried millions and captured imaginations. Its wings may be clipped, but its legacy flies on. And as we look back, the A380 will be remembered not for its fall, but for its fearless rise. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know. Did you ever fly on an A380? Share your story in the comments.